what's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing with NDub, where I'm your host, Nathan Webster. I'm excited to chop it up with you today. Today for episode 69, we're getting almost to the 200s. I got Réland. What's up, Rayleigh? What's going on?
Oh, welcome and excited to be back for round three.
Round three, yes.
Of this beautiful building a brand for better business, the tongue twister we all wanted this morning. How are you, Nathan?
I'm doing good, as we're going to talk about in episode 169, building your brand asset library. And I know that could be a tongue twister, that could be a lot, but I'm letting y'all know you need to have it. So for my first time listeners, I'm glad you're tuning in today. And for my worldwide listeners, thank you for tuning in, because I know you need this. And so Ray, as I say, drop it like it's hot.
Not a problem. So for those of us who are coming back today, this one is going to be super informative, but it's going to be quick and fast. If you want more details, they were in episodes 168 and 167. So go back and take a good old fashioned listen. But if you have already listened to those, thank you for doing your homework. This is the next step. So when you've built a complete brand, usually we always think of the brand as the visual identity piece of the brand, and that's because that's what everybody sees on the surface. And when you see that on the surface, you might wonder, okay, well, now that I have a logo and I have some colors, like, we're good to go, check. But those logos and colors, typically for large businesses, come in a beautiful little packet or book or digital book that allows you to be more effective and stick to the game plan. And so when we talk about building that digital asset library, we're going to first talk about building your brand guidelines, and we will share those in the show notes, but wanted to let you know how that all comes together. So you might be the first person to build the brand and be the head of that brand, but eventually you are going to grow, and you're going to have a marketing team, and you're going to have folks like myself and Nathan that you want to get help from. And one of the very first things we're going to ask you for is your brand guidelines. And when we ask for those brand guidelines, please don't send me a screenshot of your logo off of a website.
Well, wait, hold on. And for that, I'm not giving my time, y'all, but say that last part again.
Please do not send me a screenshot of your logo from a website. And you think I'm joking. Story of my life. So the elements that go in that are going to be comprised of both your brand substance that we chatted about on episode 167 and your brand expression that we chatted about on episode 168. And those together bring you to today's episode, which is what is going to be in those guidelines and how would you read that book when you see it. So when you get your beautiful brand guidelines book, and it is digital or physical copy because you're like me and enjoy life just a little extra and wanted the physical copy, you're going to open it up, and it's going to give you at first a table of contents. And after that table of contents, we're going to dive right in, and it goes straight into your company overview, which is the base of your brand substance. So that's where, if any marketer or social media agency was trying to get to know who you are at the core, they would be able to quickly read your mission, your vision, your purpose, and your goals, and understand how to do the next steps to apply them. Then the next section. Yes, sir.
Are they just getting this from Google? Where do they download this brand style guide? What are you talking about? Where are they going to get this from?
Well, you can call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
So for those that didn't get the introduction, because I messed up once again, Réland is a colleague and partner, and she is one of the best professionals I know that can flip it from brand to events to promotions to retail, merchandising, interior. She even done an interior decor for one of our clients. So without further ado, if you don't know who she is, she's been talking for the last 5 minutes, but if you don't know who she is, her name is Réland Logan from Gray Digital Marketing. Welcome to the show, Réland.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I notoriously never introduce myself for some odd reason, mostly because I'm just focused on getting you the results that you need and want. And that's my core motivation. So, thank you for that beautiful introduction, Nathan. Yes, I specialize in all things brand, whether that is visual, physical, and ideation and strategy. I am able to tie all of that together with a pretty little bow, and I'll take everything from ordinary to extraordinary with a little extra.
So then when she's saying that for you to come in with your brand style guide and these are the table of contents, that means she's, just so you know, she's creating it. I don't create anything near as pretty what she creates, but what I have works. But you want the fluffy, pretty unicorn butterfly stuff, and that's where Ray's gonna come in and do that for you.
I just love it. Like, I always joke with folks that my job is to color as an adult, and then people get to know me and they're like, "Wow, you've done so much." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, my job is to color." So, but it's so much more than that. As we had to have 3 episodes just to talk about it. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Well, we had to have the first 2 episodes to talk about the assets too. What after, I should say, happens when we're doing the intake, we're asking the questions, and sometimes some people are like, why are you asking me all these questions? Sometimes people get defensive. They feel a little bit insecure because, their business is their baby. But it's like, look, there's an output. You're giving us inputs, but I promise you, you're going to be more than well pleased with the output.
Exactly. And the more you put in, the better the output's going to be.
Correct.
And I can't tell you enough. Like, yes, I can design this for you, but honestly, even if you just had this in a Google Doc at the bare minimum, you would be doing us all a favor. And that's what our intake forms are trying to get out of you, is all of this information. So instead of filling out an intake form, you could send this to us and then answer the other questions. And we would probably do a couple back handsprings for you and a back tuck because you just made our job easier.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we won't even go on when clients say, we have information. Let's just get it to you when we talk to that person. We turned out that it's just a threefold brochure. Yeah, three, yeah.
No, sometimes it's just a Word doc with a picture on it inserted.
Yeah. We won't go into too much because we don't have an insurance bucket. So we'll just talk about to the subject at large, the brand asset library. When we say, if you're not watching this, Ray put her hat down because yeah, we have
Because I want to just hide from that whole scenario. So
talk
now
about
that we're done hiding,
how many like real fast. Can you count how many episodes you could create off of bad client experiences?
oh, I wouldn't have to think of the number of episodes. I just have to start a new podcast. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. As I digress.
And remind me when we're offline to tell you about my next podcast venture because I think you're going to find me quite funny. And maybe one day we'll update the show notes with that. But on to professional and better things. Um, so you have these elements of your brand substance and your brand expression. Woo! And you really want to ensure that your brand substance leads the way in that document. And or like we said, call me, beat me if you want to reach me. We got your back. But then we want to really, really dial in into who your customer is with their customer story, their journey map, those elements that tell us everything about who it is that we're targeting as marketers, the people that we're trying to attract into your orbit to make everything worthwhile for you. And without that information, if we don't know and it's not written down in a very concise and clear manner, well, like we said previously, and I swear I say this on every episode, a confused mind always says no, always says no. And when you're like, oh, my Google ads aren't working, or oh, my Facebook ads aren't working, it's because we're not targeting the right people or the messaging is unclear. And it's one of those two things, and that's usually a brand problem. So get it down into that asset library, get it down on paper so you're really clear about who that person is, and come back and take a peek at it, because maybe things start shifting. The world changes. You grow up. We all grow up. And that's really important to take and reflect on. But if you don't do anything else, please have that piece in it. Then you want to let folks know, how do you communicate? What is your brand communication like? Are you serious? Are you so serious? Or are you really funny, happy, and exciting and make a lot of jokes? How is that communication coming across? We want to know, what are your values? What is it that drives you to do what you do? And why would somebody want to spend time with you? And then we dive into the parts that are really important to anybody who's designing for you, which is going to be that visual identity. We want to see, what versions of your logos do you have? How much space needs to be around the logo? Where does a small logo go versus a full version of your logo, and why? What can I not do to your logo? Can I not turn it pink in October for breast cancer awareness? Is making it rainbow for Pride a no-go? Can I not switch the colors because I feel like it? We need to know what you can and cannot do to that logo when using it in designs. It's very important. And then if you can do those things to the logo, we also need to know what that looks like. What is your shade of pink? Do you only use part of the rainbow spectrum? How am I supposed to do that? And the rules and guidelines that make it possible for that logo. Then we need to know your colors. If you tell me your colors are red, white, and blue, that is open to a lot of interpretation. Let me tell you. You tell me red, and I'm probably going to ask you, did you mean rose red, or did you mean scarlet red? Did you mean blazer red, or did you mean red nail polish or red lipstick? And if you mean that, do you mean cool red, or do you mean warm red? Do you mean fire truck red? The list goes on. Don't even get me started on blue. There's way too many versions of blue. But we need to know exactly what the codes are for your color, so it is right and consistent every single time. And also for colors, we need to know how much of each color. So is it mostly red? Or is it only 10% red, 50% blue, and then the remainder 40% is white? Because a brand that's more blue than red is going to look very different from a brand that is more red than blue.
And I will say I have all my brand colors right next to my UBI number, my EIN number, my business address, and all that stuff. So for me, it's very much part of my company, not just tucked away in some far, far, far document, because you'll be surprised how many people ask you for that very question. Which, yeah. Okay, just give me the hex number. Just give me that. Yeah. What's the RGB number? Give me that.
If you are looking to even get, look at Nathan's fancy vest there. If you're looking to get swag or clothes for your brand, they're going to ask you what those colors are. Folks if you're getting things printed, they're going to ask, what is the Pantone color of that?
Yes.
And so you've got to know your color numbers. It's not just as simple as saying, hey, my brand colors are blue. Stitch is blue. Genie is blue.
Because there's all different types of blue.
Shades of blue.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. And it never stops. And what's crazy is this is Nike. I forget what, I think this might be a Portland company, which is a very popular brand, and they never match. Never match. So you'd be surprised how many companies don't use the exact same colors, because it's the part of differentiation that they want to achieve. So yes, I can't express enough how, which is why I did the interruption. Please don't think your color is not that important for you to write down, and keep it in a very safe place, and a place where you know where it's at, so you can quickly access it.
I'll tell you this. Your color will become real important to you when you get something and it's the wrong color.
Well, yes. Yeah.
That part.
Yeah. So, when we're talking about building brand assets, I love having the conversation around the logo, especially when someone's logo, they want it to be redone because the way it pops on a website is different the way they thought it was going to pop because the way it looked on a business card was good, but now digitally speaking, that's not because there was certain about the curvature or the depth of it. There was a shadow, something, but they were like, it's just not good enough. And some people love their logo and swear by it, but this is where it comes back to you haven't really sat down, made time for it. And don't
Mhm.
think like, oh, that's not like, oh, that's important. Yeah, that's how people engage with you without even you looking. Sorry, I need to not talk. Go ahead, Ray.
I have one quick story on this. I was teaching a workshop and I got done with the workshop really fast. I was teaching about how to design. And so I asked folks, actually, it was how to design on Canva. And I asked folks, why don't you share with me, since we have extra time, a design that you're working on that I can help fix?
Mm-hmm.
And a lady pops open her design and I look at it and I look at it and there's plenty of things that needed to be fixed. And it was the perfect example for what it is we were working on. But at one point in time, I asked her, I go, are these your brand colors? And she goes, well, no. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's do a little exercise if you're willing. And she's like, of course. And I go, what color is McDonald's? Red and yellow. What color is Walmart? Blue and yellow. What color is Target? Red. And so I start asking these questions of these very popular brands, and we could say the colors of them so fast. So you can't just go switching these things up and you have to know them because they create a memory in your client's mind. And we take in visuals 60,000 times faster than we take in text. And we can recall images 90% of an image in less than 3.5 seconds. So please don't switch your colors randomly and use the correct ones at all times. Please and thank you.
Mm. I'm not going to say anything because you're the
That
guest.
was really nerdy of me, and I hope you all appreciate that.
No, yeah, yeah, it's important. Which is the only thing I will add to that is, which for those that understand colors, why do you think Google uses all of the colors? The Roy G. Biv. Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
don't
primary.
you right. I think this is where it's like the messaging, the subconscious messaging that's happening, but you don't realize that when you are just scrolling, maybe just perusing, just a quick glance, that's gonna talk. And Ray talked about that in your reptile brain to keep you safe. You're looking for things that are iconic, which is why banks have always used pillars in their forefront of their bank or within the bank, even though they're superficial, they're artificial. It's not real. It just conveys trust and
Mm-hmm.
legacy and commitment and sturdiness and yeah, all sort of stuff. But I think that's where you do not undersell. You do not just push aside colors. But okay.
Never, never. The other thing that you don't push aside that is really important that we don't always think about or care about sometimes is your typography.
Yep.
So
Yes.
w- you want a pretty pairing, something that is going to be strong enough for headings and then something that's going to be strong for body. And your subheading could be one or the other. It could be something completely different, but it just needs to stay consistent. Because again, we might not take in the text itself, like what the words are, but we do see it as a visual element and sometimes can trigger that as a picture versus the words themselves. And so I could probably spend an entire episode talking about typography and spacing and line spacing and breathing and when to use sans and sans serif, but we're not going to do that. Just know that it's important to have consistent typography within your brand guidelines that you make. So somebody doesn't just say, oh, this looks similar enough. Let me use that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that way we have consistency throughout. And last but not least, very important thing that you need to have is a mood board of images. How people take pictures is vastly different from the next person who takes pictures. What's attractive to one audience member might be different for a completely different brand. And
Mhm.
so if your brand, like mine, is based on tropical things as seen in said beach photo, and if you could see the rest of my room, there's pineapples and monsteras everywhere. That is consistent no matter what you're looking at. I always have a hat. And so you're always going, when you come across my stuff, you are going to see lots of beachy elements, tropical elements that make you feel like you get to be on a getaway by creating your brand. But you're never going to see a picture of somebody skiing in on a mountain in my brand because that doesn't make sense. And
No.
so you want to be consistent throughout in even your image representation, maybe even more so than what it is that you're typing, because again, people remember images faster and quicker. If you go and look at anything of Nathan's, you're going to see lots of diamonds. We're going to see blues and blacks, and we're going to see people interacting together. And those are the images that you're going to see on every single page that you click through when you visit his website. Just like on my page, you're going to get nothing but beaches, people sitting on blankets with their laptops out on the beach. Like those images are who we are at a core and the visual expression of everything you built in your brand substance. And when you have all of those pieces together in one document, I can promise you, you are light years ahead of your peers, because majority of them would probably be like, oh, I think I can find my hex codes in my Canva account.
Mm. Yeah, that's, oh my gosh. You know what? For those that are watching, Ray, you want to do something different?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here, and I am doing like you look, y'all. We have not planned for this at all. So
I
I'm
love
gonna,
the unexpected. Let's go.
yes, yes. Let me just fix something real fast.
Boo, 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 doo, 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 doo.
All right, here we go. I haven't fully unveiled this. Can you see it, Ray?
I see it.
Yeah,
Oh, is
I've
that
been
Karen? Hi, Karen.
yes, I've been working on this for a while now, but this is not my marketing site. This is
Your
the
podcast site.
and what colors do you see?
They're blue and black. The brand that I established for you when I built your brand guidelines.
That's it. For- That's
Hey,
it.
that's
So
my face.
yeah. I I'm still working on this part here when it comes to the guests. Where you can become a guest. You can come here if you want to be a guest. But guess who's right? Look at that right
Oh,
there.
hey. I even talk about sales facts, y'all. Watch out.
Look at that. So again, like I'm not just we're just not saying it. And this is the website that I haven't gone to. But look, who's that right there? You know that person, Ray?
I know her quite well. I see her every day when I brush my teeth.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
I just
goodness.
at least wanted to a very ad hoc moment of where yes, stay then you got to stay consistent. Stay consistent because my endupbrand.com matches somewhat of the Let's Talk Marketing Podcast.com brand.
I love it when the gap is bridged beautifully. Not
Yes.
one of those scary bridges that sways side to side and is missing some panels, but like a real true sturdy bridge that's like made out of stone and concrete.
Yes, we're in, and now we're gonna go back to the original site because we got some streamlining, some condensing to do as a minimalist because that's who I am too. So I think this is
Yeah.
important to, as you talked about in the last couple of episodes, it's your character, and I want to work with people that are kind of like-minded to me. That also is another thing when it comes to your brand as a business owner, you only want to work with certain type of people. Well, you going to attract what you put out there. So, and
You're going to attract what you expect.
whoever say where the energy goes, where the focus,
Go
wherever you
wherever your focus, wherever your focus is, your energy flows or something like that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
We'll Google that later.
Yeah, well, we are out of time. We're at 25 minutes. Can you believe it's been 25 minutes?
Yes,
This
because
is,
I'm chatty and my name should have been Kathy, but here it is at Raylan. So
but to be fair, and what folks don't know, we were on the call 20 minutes prior to hitting the record button. So yeah, and that's why we didn't get in. This is our third podcast we recorded today. Just a little back end note, but we talked so much in the first hour, we had to say, okay, we'll just do it later on today. So,
it's true.
Raylan, where can they find you at if they want to learn more about you and how they can get some help from you?
Of course. Well, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at Gray Digital MKTG. That is Gray with an A, Digital MKTG. You will know you found it because there's a lady with a hat on. Or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I am the only Raylan Logan. That is Reland Logan. And also, a lady with a hat might be the same picture if we're being honest and consistent. So happy to connect with you. Would love to hear your thoughts and answer any questions that you may have. But if you want to work with us, if you're like, oh, Ray's over here, but I want both of them at the same time, you can go over to Mr. Nathan Webster and he can tell you all about it.
You can hit us up at info@nwebsterllc.com. You can find me on LinkedIn just like you can find Ray. You can find me on Instagram like you can find Ray. I know Ray's on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter. Ray, are you on Twitter? X? I mean,
We
X.
don't talk. Okay. That's like we don't talk about Bruno. I am, and I think I have 6 followers, and it's going to stay that way for the rest of time.
I got a notification. Well, not notified. When I would check my stats, I'm like, yeah, I lost a follower on Twitter. I'm like, oh
Oh,
well.
shucks. It was
Yeah.
probably Elon Musk's fault. But I have a great idea for another podcast that one day we're going to do, and Nathan doesn't know about it yet. But we're really excited to see you guys again.
So until next time, if you haven't left a review, if you haven't left a comment, please do so and share it. And so you heard it first here at Let's Talk Marketing with InDepth and Raylan for joining us.
Yay! We'll see you soon.
Until next time, y'all, we wish you the very best. So dream big and Godspeed.